All right, guys, you have a lot of information thrown at you for this course. Welcome to Chem 1030. You've got another video. It's about a 30-minute video that you're also watching to get you started. Go watch those first. Go look at the first page. I'll show you where that is before you come back and finish this, because we have a couple of assignments due very quickly, and I want you to make sure that you get those due dates. So this is our eLearn homepage. This is our Chem 1030 course. So I pinned it to the top so that I can see it. As I come in, here is that first video. You have to watch this video before any of the other stuff opens up for you. This goes through the way the course is set up very thoroughly. You're going to want to come back and look at it several times through the semester, well, even this week. And then as a quick starter, once you've watched that video, here is exactly what's due in the next 2 days. So this is due by Wednesday evening. It looks like a lot, but these are all relatively short assignments, very low stakes assignments, but they do count for points. So please make sure that you get all of those done. And we've got that list for you several places. I'm going to come up here to the upper left, and I'm going to open up the content to get started. All right. I am here on the Get Started. If you're not there, you can click on that. Over on the right, it's eLearn is going to keep track of what you have watched or clicked on with these little check marks over here on the far right side. So this is another link to that same video. It's going to open up in YouTube.
Okay. Welcome to Chem 1030 CO1, which is an online lecture course.
There it is. All right. That you're going to watch. I'm going to go back up here where it says Get Started. I'm going to click on that to get back to the, what is that called? Like the table of contents. You will not be able to access Module 1 until you watch all that video, so do make sure you've watched it. Here is your checklist. Again, you've got this in several different places. You can check these off as you go through them. You read the syllabus, you watch that overview, you get registered for Pearson because we've got an assignment due Wednesday evening. You make sure that you do all of the attendance assignments. There are several in this message here. Again, it seems like a lot, but they're all very short. So just make sure that you're doing those. And then once you finish that and hit the Wednesday evening deadline, then you're going to get started on your week 1 material. Your week 1 material then goes through the first chapter that we're covering. This is actually the chemistry stuff. You do have some due dates this weekend. So you are, once you finish that flurry of activities, that's all due Wednesday evening, then you've got a little bit of time to breathe, but you have to jump back in it and you have to get started on the first week's material. We're also meeting for lab Wednesday evening. So I will be reminding you when we meet for lab Wednesday evening that all of this is due by Wednesday evening after lab. And so again, I'm on week 1, January 17th. We've looked at that week 1 overview. These are the assignments. And as I click on every link, as I go down, this is again going to list it. I can use this little right arrow in the bottom right to go on to the next one. These are all the assignments, and I can only get to them. They're only open for me if I have watched that video. So I'm going to watch this video here in number 1. I'm going to read through this page in number 2, and then I'm going to click on the link to take me to the quiz. And if there is no way to take the quiz, if I can't open the quiz, it's because I haven't finished looking at everything. So make sure you go back and look at everything. I'm going to come back here to Module 1. All right. Once we finish, again, all of the material, then you're going to get started on lecture material for Chapter 1. Your textbook is at Pearson. We do have a pre-lecture assignment at Pearson. Again, nothing is going to be open for you until you finish watching that video, and it doesn't save the settings for me, so it's not open for me when I go into student mode. All right. So you've got some lecture notes. This was talked about in the big video for the overview for the course. You have a post-lecture assignment. Don't worry about that right now. It's due at the end of the week. It's due January 28th. We're also going to be talking about this in class on Wednesday night, in lab on Wednesday night. But you've got a little bit of breathing room here for these due dates for Chapter 1. As we look at our week 1, again, pre-lecture assignment, I'm just coming down the list here, guided lecture notes and slides to help you get through the material. You're doing all of the lecture work outside of our meeting time. You can use Wednesday nights to ask me questions, but we also have to do lab Wednesday nights. You have videos, guided videos for this that you can watch through and take notes on. This will help you with the questions at Pearson. It will help you with the quizzes. It will help you with the exams. It'll also help you with some of the labs, especially this first lab. There is a post-lecture assignment, which isn't due until January 28th, again at Pearson. You've got a little bit of breathing room for that. All right, and then you've got your lab material. So we've got an intro to the lab. We've got a meet your professors who are doing the lab. This is your professors who are actually doing the lab activities, and these are actually what we're going to be watching during lab. So you can't actually watch these yet, although it does look like it's open. Let me check that. But we'll be watching the lab videos as we're in lab. You'll be going into groups, into a lab group, and this is through Zoom. You'll be going into a lab group in Zoom and working on the lab activities. Then we'll be getting together, talking about the answers. You can correct yourself as we go through them. So essentially by the end of the lab night, you should have a pretty good score on your lab activity. If you're paying attention, if you're participating, if you're filling out your material, you'll have a pretty good score. And then you will turn in a lab report for completion, and then you'll take a lab quiz. There is always a post-lab quiz. You'll be taking that outside of lab after you've had a chance to look over any wrong answers you might have had. So that is our lab activities. Our first lab is the math recitation. All right, lab. And again, we are actually starting to work on this on Wednesday night. So come ready to work on Wednesday night. I'm going to get that Zoom link. I thought it was here, but I don't see it. So I'm going to get our Zoom link for our lab. Make sure that that's there in the course so that you can see it. I want to go back to one more thing. As we go back to the getting started material, there is a course schedule. And if I click on that course schedule, this is what's going on each week. So week 1, e-learn contents and reading, activities and assignment. You do have a math recitation lab report due at the end of this week, but again, we're working on it Wednesday in class. It goes hand in hand in hand in hand in hand with the Chapter 1 materials. So as we work on it in class on Wednesday night, you're also going to be getting knowledge that will help you do the lecture material for Chapter 1. It doesn't always coincide so closely, but this first one does. All right. We're actually only going to get started on it, and I say that because I'm scrolling down here. We're actually going to kind of spread this first lab over the first 2 weeks, but come ready to work on Wednesday. You'll see what I mean as we go through it. All right. So that's what you're keeping track of. Again, if you are just starting here, don't start here. Go back and watch that overview video, all right here at the top of the page under the Get Started Here. That will open up all of these activities that have to be done by Wednesday evening. So you got this. Come Wednesday night for questions. Again, I'm going to post a Zoom link for us. I'll put it in a news item so it'll be easy for you to meet. You might want to practice. Make sure that your Zoom is set up on your computer before Wednesday evening so that you don't run into last-minute problems there.